I hope everything is going well for you and you're having a great day. I'm going to report on something that happened around September 8th. Now, I didn't report on this for a couple of reasons. One, my internet went down, and then I didn't get it back up right away. And so when I got it back up, I had a lot of things to do. And then, of course, I was also watching the actions going on with the Buckingham Palace and so forth. So I wanted to report on this because it's so important and it really shows that anybody can give any kind of lawsuit and you just can't be afraid when somebody says they're going to sue you. Because even people like Donald Trump, I said Donald Trump, because even people like Donald Trump are just crazy and they can give crazy lawsuits. Now, he has a lot of money. He could have great lawyers. He could make up reasonable lawsuits. And so you would assume that if he's suing you, that this guy must have a great case against you. This is a case that Donald Trump filed in March 24th, 2022. Case number 2 colon 2022 CV 14102. And it was filed in the Southern District of Florida, U.S. District Court. The plaintiff is Donald Trump. The defendants, 30 people. 30 people. Can you believe that? I mean, that was just ridiculous. So let me go through a few. Well, I'll go through them all. Hillary Clinton, Democratic National Committee, HFACC Incorporated, DNC Services Corporation, Perkins Coal LLC, Michael Sussman, Mark Elias, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Charles Halliday, Dolan Jr., Jake Sullivan, John Podesta. I'm not even going to read them all. It's just too many people. But other people that are notable are James Comey, Andrew McCabe, ABC Corporations, United States of America, and New Star Security Services. 30 people, a mishmash of people, which first indicates that something is wrong with this case. Because how can all of these people be connected? And he's charging them with racketeering / corrupt organization. Now, he has 30 people, a lot of organizations, corrupt organization. He's going to put all these people under racketeering, corrupt organization. As a regular citizen, racketeering normally comes as a government case. That's like if the FBI is after you. They might charge you with racketeering, a RICO case. Anyway, so I was interested in this and I wanted to see what was going on. And so I read the case, and well, I started to read the case. The case was very long, the complaint. And so I then noticed that he had amended the complaint. So I didn't finish the first complaint, and then I got the amended complaint, and I read about 70 pages. Now, the amended complaint was 193 pages long. Another signal, something is wrong with this case. 193 pages to get your complaint out. Crazy. So I read 70 pages of that amended complaint, and it was so crazy. And by 70 pages, it still had not organized its complaint to a point where you could really understand what was going on. It was just a matter of bitching and moaning and whining by Donald Trump because he had been accused of having an association with Russia before he was the nominee during the time he was running for office and so forth. He said it damaged his credibility, it damaged his image, and so forth. Well, that's hard to do because we know Donald Trump and we know his image and we know his credibility. I mean, the man's never been one for telling the truth. He tells an enormous number of lies. So I got through 70 pages and I just said, this is a bunch of crap. I didn't read anymore, but I decided I would wait and see what the courts did. So everybody filed to have the case dismissed. And on September 8th, the court responds. Trump is drop kicked out of court. Drop kicked out of court. The judge said his case has no merit as a lawsuit. There have been a number of summaries of what was wrong with this case. As you can imagine, 193 pages. There was a whole lot wrong with this lawsuit. So it said the lawsuit against Hillary Clinton over the 2016 election was dismissed, saying that the president's allegations were unsupported by any legal authority after he accused Clinton and other Democratic officials of a far-reaching conspiracy aiming to take down his first presidential campaign. It's interesting how Trump plays with the law. You know, I never have seen somebody who just throws lawsuits at the wall and see which ones will stick. And he has so many lawyers that take these cases. And it's really amazing how he dangles and plays with the law. And during his time in office, he was able to put in a whole lot of judges. So when he has these cases that he's using to whine and moan and bitch about, he can give them to his favorite judge, a judge who never ever thought she or he would get a federal appointment, a lifetime appointment as a judge. But because Trump came in and gave this gift and said, hey, you can be a judge appointed for a lifetime, these people are so happy. And so when Trump comes in as a plaintiff, some are willing to not abide by the law or just give all kinds of crazy results. But this one, at least, did not do that, and it went through and actually dismissed the lawsuit. But for some people, this is very expensive. I mean, if you're not getting a great income and you get sued and you have to hire a lawyer, he has to read and evaluate 193 pages, you're going to pay a lot of money. So it can be very expensive for people that he's just harassing using lawsuits. And I'm going to tell you in the end, the judge wants to penalize Trump for abusing the court system. And hopefully he will, because it's really, really hard on regular people. I mean, you could go around suing people who were on the verge of poverty, and you would know that they wouldn't be able to defend against the lawsuit, and you would be able to do all kinds of crazy things against them. But we don't want that in our courts. We want real cases, real lawsuits, and not have to just have people waste their money on lawyers for ridiculous lawsuits. So the basis of the lawsuit was Trump sued Clinton and so forth, accusing them of a racketeering conspiracy for alleged unthinkable plotting, claiming Trump colluded with Russia in 2016 election, for which he alleges harmed his reputation. And I said that's ridiculous because his reputation is already terrible. The case was dismissed, and the judge wrote the complaint was inadequate in nearly every respect, and his legal claims were unsupported by any legal authority and go against Supreme Court precedent. Trump's lawsuit lacked any substance and legal support and sought to substitute with length, hyperbole, and settling of scores and grievances. He said that the 193-page amended complaint is certainly not presented in a concise and cohesive manner. He also said Trump waited too long to bring the case. In other words, he was outside of the statute of limitations. But the president argued back, well, he was too busy to file this lawsuit because he was acting as president. And the judge came back and said, well, that did not deter him from filing other lawsuits. So clearly, that excuse that he was too busy acting as president is nonsense. The judge also said Trump misunderstood the applicable law. He claims lack of any specific allegations which might provide factual support for the conclusions reached, and that statements Democrats made against him were First Amendment protected speech. Now, see, Trump, his Truth Network, he's trying to say this is a place where he can speak freely, First Amendment protected speech. No one's going to be hindered. But yet, he's trying to get other people on First Amendment speech. So he wants First Amendment speech freedoms for himself, but not for anybody who's speaking against him. For them, he wants to take it to court and have them punished. His attorney said Trump will immediately appeal the decision, and the president's legal team vehemently disagreed with the ruling. Now, that's Trump's modus operandi. He goes right back to appeal, and then that appeal will probably, I'm certainly, go against Trump, and he will appeal again, and so forth. Trump likes to keep these lawsuits, no matter how pitiful they are, going for years, which mean all of these people who are tied up in the original complaint have to keep dealing with Trump because he is trying to get back at them. He is trying to get revenge. He is trying to annoy them and spend their money. But they'll have to do this for years because that's how Trump acts. And Trump has gotten a lot of money from the people who support him. So he has extra money to spend on these lawsuits. Hopefully, the judge will punish Trump with the cost of filing and lawyer fees for all who had to keep lawyers in order to keep responding to Trump. But we'll see what happens. That's going to be probably years coming down the pike because that's how Trump is. It's the same thing with his stealing of those documents from the White House. He managed to get a judge. The judge wasn't even supposed to be in the case. He put his appeal to a judge who wasn't supposed to be in the case, a judge he had appointed, and a judge who wanted to make Trump happy because she was so happy to get the appointment. She said, okay, I'm going to give you a special master, and now he's going to go through playing around with the special master. He's going to go around appealing and appealing. He's going to start charging the FBI and the Department of Justice with all kinds of complaints, and this will go on forever because Trump is a master at clogging up the courts, at getting people entangled. It took us how many years? 6 years to get his income taxes? You and I, if we had been asked for our income taxes and we didn't want to give them, maybe we could hold off for a year. But Trump held off for 6 years against state attorneys and the federal government and multiple other states trying to get information about his taxes. Trump is very, very tenacious when he wants to not give information and he wants to fool around with the courts. He has a sister who's a judge, in fact, and she might be giving him some information as to how to keep this stuff going. One critic of Trump's lawsuit said that the lawsuit was full of erroneous applications of the law. It disregarded numerous independent governmental investigations which substantiate the claim that the defendants did not conspire to falsely implicate Trump and undermine his 2016 presidential election. The initial lawsuit, I might also say, before he did the amended complaint, he was even suing people who weren't even in the United States. He was suing people in the same case. He was suing people outside of the country where you had no way of getting jurisdiction over these people. And that made that lawsuit even much more obviously crazy than the amended complaint, where at least he dropped a lot of the non-Americans from the lawsuit. And this lawsuit he filed in Florida, where the people that he's alleging all of these actions don't live in Florida. They didn't act in Florida, and they had no contact or reason to be sued in Florida. So that was another thing that was real crazy about the lawsuit. And then the judge said that the attorneys could be sanctioned for bringing this ridiculous lawsuit to the court and getting the whole thing started. The judge stated that their legal claims were not warranted by existing law or by a non-frivolous argument, and that they have to have evidentiary support, which Trump lacked in his complaint. In this complaint, Trump also accused Hillary Clinton of a whole list of accusations which he used throughout his election campaign with all of the lock her up stuff that he used against Hillary. He accused her of fabricating the Steele dossier, which claimed collusion between Trump and Russia, and manufactured a suspicious pattern of activity between Trump and a Russian-owned bank, and conducted large-scale FBI investigations led by, quote, Clinton loyalists, unquote, and that she had, according to him, instituted an investigation and media frenzy to malign Trump. He accused Clinton of spying on him in 2016, and the court found that, according to filings from the Justice Department, Special Counsel John Durham, even though Durham's filing did not actually make such accusations, the Senate Intelligence Committee found in 2019, when it was controlled by Republicans, that the Russian government engaged in an aggressive, multifaceted effort to influence or attempt to influence the outcome of the 2016 presidential election in Trump's favor. So this lawsuit will go on, and we will see how it ends up over the coming years. But for right now, the initial lawsuit has been dismissed in favor of the defendants, and they can pretty much move on without having to give too much attention to this lawsuit in the future. You can see a copy of Trump's amended complaint on the internet. What do you think about it? And like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.